2025 has been an absolutely insane year for the CS2 markets, and things keep getting crazier and crazier. If you guys remember, just a couple of months ago, we were going through this period where things were already up a lot. 2025 had been a good year, but then we got to this crazy peak insanity point where people were talking about market manipulation and price pumping and, Chinese whatever, doing all these crazy things, making prices go higher and higher and higher at a quick rate that made absolutely no sense. And then things tanked. Things absolutely crashed back down so fast. It was a really, really weird time in the market where people were like buying the top and losing a ton of money. Like a couple of days later, it was absolute insanity. But then slowly but surely things started recovering. Things started climbing back up. And you can see here, just a couple of days ago, we had Price Empire and Ra tweeting out that the CS2 market cap was 1.3% away from reaching a new all-time high. They were talking about soon. We're getting close to that really nice round $5 billion number mark in the CS2 marketplace. And then we kept getting closer and closer and closer. CS2's market cap, just a day later, CS2's market cap has once again surpassed the $5 billion mark, currently sitting at $5.01 billion, less than 1% away from a new all-time high. And then finally, today on June 28th, the day that I'm recording this video, we did it. We reached the new all-time high. So again, we've gone on this crazy kind of roller coaster ride lately. But again, over the course of 2025, things have mostly gone up. But in this video today, we're going to be talking about all the latest that's been going on in the CS2 marketplace, the CS2 economy, and how we are now sitting at new all-time highs. If you are looking to turn your CS2 skins into cash simple and easy, look no further than today's sponsor, sellyourskins.com. Simply go to the top right-hand corner and click sign in with Steam. Then you're going to select the skins that you want to sell, and then you're going to go over to the right side and select one of their many convenient payment options like PayPal, Venmo, or even Bitcoin. And you can also use the code JERM, J-E-R-M, to claim an extra 5% bonus on your cash out. So definitely make sure you go take advantage of that awesome discount today with that first link description below. And thank you to sellyourskins.com for sponsoring this video. Obviously, as somebody that has a pretty significant CS2 inventory and has a lot of money invested into these markets, I am very, very excited and very happy to see the CS2 economy hitting a new all-time high. But also at the same time, even if we weren't hitting new all-time highs and we weren't going crazy and skyrocketing to the moon, honestly, and I truly do mean this, that would be okay with me as well, because while prices going up and reaching crazy peaks and new big numbers and all that stuff is awesome, and that means, the things that we own are increasing in price and we're making money on paper, we're making unrealized gains and all that stuff, it also means that the new stuff that I buy and the new stuff that I'm investing into and the new positions I want to start is just more expensive. And honestly, if prices stay down and we did get some kind of dip or crash or whatever, I would be able to get the stuff that I want to invest in and get some really, really great stuff at even cheaper prices. Right now, all the stuff I love investing into, like cases and filler skins and all this stuff, it's getting more and more expensive. But that's obviously a good problem to have because, like I said, I do have a significant amount of money in these markets, and it's been going up very, very quickly. But I hope you guys have been invested as well throughout the 2025 year because, yeah, it's been hard to not make money in the CS2 kind of landscape right now. Now, hey, this won't always be the case, but in general, one thing you do have to keep in mind here is that, again, if you believe in CS2, if you think CS2 is going to be an amazing game, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever, you think it's still going to be around, you think it's still going to be one of the top players in the market, it doesn't make sense to be in and out of the market too much. It doesn't make too much sense to be betting against it too much. And if you are investing in CS2 stuff, you should believe in the future of CS2. And if you don't believe in the future of CS2, you shouldn't be invested in the first place. So, when we do have opportunities like the release of CS2 where things were a little bit shaky, the market was dipping, the market was crashing, take those as your buying opportunities. Again, I, at that time, was buying stuff because I said, hey, the release of CS2 is shaky, but Valve is not going to let CS2 die. Valve is not going to let CS2 be a trash game. Valve needs and desperately wants CS2 to be a massive success because they make, however many hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, whatever, off of it. And obviously that has paid off very, very, very well. But yeah, just kind of putting things into perspective, keeping things in mind here. But like I said, I hope you guys have had money in these CS2 markets. I hope you guys have been taking advantage of this stuff. I hope you guys have been making money as we've reached new all-time highs because, hey, most things in the market are going up right now. Now, I did want to look back a little bit because this guy tweeted out, I don't know how you say this guy's name, Me Too. He tweeted this out. Remember the big crash when CS2 was released? This was almost 2 years ago. And again, here are some of those prices from just 2 years ago when CS2, this was, I guess it's not even been quite 2 years because I think CS2 came out in like September, October of something of 2023, and it's only June or July of 2025. But still, here we have the butterfly knife fade in factory new for $2,300. Now that is sitting at $4,700. Just has more than doubled in less than 2 years, which is absolutely insane. This is for, one of the most expensive items. This is a multiple $1,000 item. Even the very, very high end stuff has doubled in more than 2 years. Again, in traditional markets, you're trying to double in like 7 years. I think if you double in like 5, 6, 7 years, somewhere in there, that's like an amazing investment. Now you're talking about doubling in less than 2 years. And again, this isn't even like necessarily the highest performing stuff in the CS markets. This is like the ultra premium high tier stuff. That is very, very, very ridiculous. We have the Op Dragon Lore going from 10,000 to 12.8 right now, which is pretty crazy. We have the Op Gunganeer going from 9.6k to 14.9, almost 15k. We have, stuff like the Op Asimov and Field Tested. I don't know if this is going to show up on here. Let me see if I can find it. Op Asimov and Field Tested going to 143 from 92. So, a lot of stuff having 40, 50, 100, 150, 200% gains in the last like year and 9 months or something like that. Very, very crazy. Thought this was pretty cool to, kind of look back of a time capsule of what prices were like before and see, where people have been able to make some money. Now, there's a bunch of stuff you can look at this as well. Go back and look at case prices from, late 2023 to what case prices are now. Look at agent prices from back then. Look at, even a lot of trade-up skins or filler skins from back then till now. Things are absolutely insane. It has been very, very, very ridiculous. But again, like I said, we are currently sitting at 5.062 billion at the time that I'm recording this. That is, I believe, an all-time high. I don't know exactly what the peak of the market were before, but we're either right around all-time highs or creating new all-time highs right now, which is crazy. Again, we can kind of zoom in on this period here where, again, we had this massive rise up. We had this kind of weird crash back down, but now we are kind of skyrocketing back up, and this is very, very crazy. Yeah, it seems like the old peak was 5.05, and now we're at 5.06. So it's not like we smashed through the new all-time highs or anything like that, but we are now breaking them. And again, a lot of people are saying, hey, back then it was really weird. We were going up a little bit too fast. There was market manipulation. There was weird price movement, all that different stuff. China was doing some weird stuff. But now it has been kind of a more steady, consistent grind up where people maybe believe in this market rise a little bit more. And I don't really think this time or last time we got that rise up and that crash back down. This time it doesn't seem like we should be getting a crash back down anytime soon, unless there, some crazy drastic news or anything like that. Over the past week or so, some of the items that are driving the market movements the most are definitely agents. I sorted this by items greater than $5 in the past 7 days of what we've seen in terms of price movements. And all the top gainers are a bunch of different agents. We have Arno the Overgrown, Maximus Saber, Sergeant Bombson. There's a lot of like the mid-tier agents. As the more expensive agents keep getting more and more expensive, it seems like maybe some of the money is starting to funnel down into the cheaper and medium-tier agents. Marcus Delro, Michael Cyphers. All these guys are up almost 100% just in the past 7 days. That's absolutely insane. We have some skins going up as well. The M4 Royal Paladin, Glock Neo Noir, Kukri Night Stripe. But it is a ton of agents that are really driving the price movements in the market right now. And I'm sure I'll make a whole video about all of that very, very soon. Also, another very, very interesting thing, X Mercy has kind of a pessimistic take about hitting all-time highs. Now, in general, I think hitting all-time highs is great. I also know that there is a lot of people who are concerned, a lot of people who worry about, hey, the fact that the markets are hitting all-time highs, that means maybe we're due for a little pullback. They don't really want to buy in or invest at all-time highs because, hey, that doesn't make sense. You want to buy low and sell high. If you're buying at all-time highs, that's not really buying low, but you do have to keep in mind and look at some of these graphs. Look at this price empire graph. I don't know how we zoom back out on this a little bit, but if we can kind of zoom out on this, since like 2023, since like November of 2023, there's not really been any significant dips. We've just kind of been going up for almost 2 years straight. So if you've been waiting for pullbacks and waiting for dips, you've just been sitting on the sidelines during one of the most insane bull market periods in the CS2 markets. And guess what? If you zoom out this even further and look at the whole history of Counter-Strike, there's not that very many dips. Yeah, there's a couple controversies and dramas and, changes to the game and stuff like that that does make the market dip. But in general, the market is constantly going up, constantly making new all-time highs. And if you are somebody who doesn't invest at all-time highs, you're going to be somebody who is not really investing all that much, and you're going to be missing out on massive gains. So again, you have to be bullish and optimistic about the future of CS2 to know that, hey, even if I'm buying in at all-time highs today, as long as the prices aren't stupidly overpriced, crazy, insane, whatever, market manipulated, things like that, then still, if you think things can go higher, you don't have to worry about buying in at all-time highs. And even if you do buy in at all-time highs and prices do dip or crash down or whatever, you can always buy more, and you should have game plans to constantly be, reallocating funds to be able to buy more stuff in the future. So I would just advise people, be smart, be safe, only invest money you can afford to lose, only invest money you won't need at any time, in the near future, but don't be necessarily afraid to invest at all-time highs. But X Mercy, his point here, he said the CS2 market just hit a new all-time high, but there is a catch. New skins are dropped daily, and they also increase our market cap, and we had a ton of new cosmetics lately. It's a great milestone, but not necessarily a positive sign. Now, this is very, very interesting because he is saying we're only hitting a new all-time high, or partly we're only hitting a new all-time high because we've had stuff like the new train collection, like the fever case, which we know pumped insane amounts of money into the markets, and some of this other stuff. You know, we had all the new armory stuff, all of that. So if you compare the skin economy now to 2023, like the CS2 release, before we had the army, before we had all these new cases and skins and all that, he's saying, hey, we didn't necessarily, you know, like our stuff didn't grow as much as it looks like. We just added a bunch of new stuff. But I would say that this is not necessarily a great take, that this doesn't necessarily make too much sense, because it doesn't matter. Just because new skins are created doesn't necessarily mean market cap is going to be being added to CS2, because if people aren't still putting more money in, they're just going to sell their other stuff. Those prices are going to go down, and the new stuff is going to go up, but we're still going to be at the same price point. For the market cap to continue to increase, people actually had to be putting in new money into the markets, and people actually had to be excited about this. And again, we are still seeing insane player base numbers. We're seeing insane case opening numbers, and people are really, really liking the new items. The new items aren't just, items that are being added to CS2. They're great items. Fever case, one of the best cases of all time. A lot of the new armory stuff is very good. Charms were a great new addition to the game. There are good things going on. He says it's a great milestone, but not necessarily a positive sign. Again, I very, very strongly disagree with that. I think he's making an interesting point. I think it's something to be discussed, but I don't think he's on the money. I actually think he is quite wrong about this one, because again, just because you add new stuff, if they started adding a bunch of trash new skins, they added 1 million new trash skins tomorrow, I don't really think that would have that significant of an impact on the market cap, at least in the way, that he thinks. This has to be new money coming in. And guess what? A lot of people have put new money on to get stuff like the fever case and open those cases up and buy some of the new skins and buy the alt print stream and stuff like that. It's not the same money recycling just with new items pumping up the market cap. So I thought that was an interesting point, but not necessarily right on the money. And again, in terms of other awesome stuff going on in the CS2 scene right now, we did see the Austin Major having viewership records being broken in terms of hours watched. It was a new record of a single CS event with 76 million hours being watched, which was very, very cool to see. I know Thor tweeted out this as well. He said 1.76 million peak viewers at the Austin Major for the final between Mongols and Vitality. Number 1 CS event by hours watched. Number 4 CS event by peak viewers. And the Mongolian language viewership was record breaking. Also, we do actually finally have the CS2 player count pulling back a little bit, actually being down 2% in the past month, but I don't think that's that concerning. We did see 6 straight months of pretty insane growth, and now people were kind of expecting a summer slowdown. And again, this summer slowdown is still getting us to over 1 million average players and 1.7 million peak players, which again, if you go back to the beginning of 2025, those numbers are way up from where we began having, in January, 900,000 peak players, or 900,000 average players and 1.5 million peaks. So things are still looking really, really good. CS2 is still in an amazing state. We're coming off a great major. Yeah, we're probably going to have a little bit of a downturn, a little bit of a lull here, maybe for a while, but if we do get, some big new updates, some new content, something like that coming soon, we could see a resurgence in the player base. And also, we still have one more major to end the year in 2025 as well. So there's still stuff to look forward to for the rest of the year. Also, we are seeing case unboxing numbers start to pull back a little bit. We had, I believe, 39 million unboxed in May. Now it's looking for June, like we're going to end up around 35 to 36 million, something like that. Again, a little bit of slowdown, a little bit of a pullback, but still absolutely insane numbers in the grand scheme of things. And again, if you zoom out to the beginning of 2025, things are pointing up, things are pointing in the right direction. CS2 market cap hitting all-time highs. Very, very great times if you have money invested in CS2 markets. And if you don't, you're probably feeling a little bit of FOMO right now. You're probably feeling a little bit of, missing out from everybody making all this money. So, I advise you to start considering creating some CS2 positions so you don't keep missing out on the huge gains and the historic kind of bull run that we're in the middle of right now. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.